Hello and welcome to today's video about how to use the IOActivity-move file in order to organize your invoices. In this example, the robot will access the folder, Test Invoices to be processed, where there are all the invoices to be processed. As you can see, some invoices have the issue date in format _MMDD and others in format _YYYYMMDD. But in both cases, the month is represented by the characters 3 and 4 from right to left. The robot will capture the month from the invoice's name and move the invoice to the right folder, Invoices Processed, where there are subfolders, one for each month. We strongly believe in simplicity, but real life has complex use cases. That's why the best way to address them is through state machine flows. Let's rename the first sequence Count Files, and open it. In this sequence, we will retrieve info about the invoices waiting to be processed. Add two string variables, source path, and destination path. Add two assign value activities. Set the variable, source path, as input of the first assign value activity. Copy the path of the folder where invoices are currently located and paste it in assign values output parameter, between quotes. Don't forget to double the backslash, in order to have the robot know it's not a meta character, but a normal character in the path string. In the second added assign value activity, add the variable, destination path, as input. And copy the path of the folder where invoices will be moved. Paste in the output parameter, between quotes. Again, we must double the backslash. Add a new variable, invoice list, of type array of string. Extend the variable type drop-down list and select the option array t. The page, variable construction, select type, will open. Select string, under system. Add a new assign value activity and set the newly created, invoice list, variable as input. In the output parameter use the C# method directory, getFiles, under system IO, that requires two parameters, path and search pattern. The path is the variable, source path, the search pattern can simply be asterisk in quotes, meaning all possible files located in the source path. But taking into account we are interested only in PDF invoices, let's better set .pdf as a search pattern. Add a new assign value activity and set as input the variable, number invoices. Of course, we have to define, number invoices, as an int 32 variable. In the assign value output we will use the count method in order to determine the number of elements invoices from the invoice list array. Add a show message box activity to test the number invoices assignment value. The output can be at source path plus environment, newline plus environment, newline plus there are plus number invoices plus invoices to be processed. Let's run to see what output will return the show message box activity. And it works perfectly. Let's go back to the main workflow and add a new sequence, move invoice. Set the transition between count files and the newly created sequence, move invoice, and rename it. Open the move invoice sequence and add a new assign value activity. The input is the variable invoice. Create a new variable invoice of type fileinfo. For this, go to the variables section, set the variable name invoice, extend the variable type drop-down list and select the last option, choose type. Type fileinfo in the variable construction. Select type window and select fileinfo under system IO. Let's create a new variable invoice counter, which represents the position in the invoice list array. Set variable type int 32 and default value 0, meaning the first array position. The output is new fileinfo invoice list invoice counter. Practically we instantiate the invoice variable as one of the elements of invoice list array. Add a new assign value activity and set a new string variable, invoice name, as input. In the output field, we write invoice.name.split by character dot first. Basically the code returns the first part of invoice name split, having point character as separator. In this way, we remove the file extension .pdf from invoice name. Add a show message box activity to test the assignment value for invoice name. Let's set as output current invoice to be processed plus invoice name. Let's run again to test if an invoice name will be returned. and it works perfectly. Add a new assign value activity and set a new string variable, invoice month, as input. And of course, create the string variable, where we will store the month of invoice issuing date. The output is invoice name.substring of invoice name.length -4.remove2, which means to extract the last 4 characters from invoice name, month and day, and then remove the last 2 characters, hence remaining only the characters afferent to invoice issuing month. Add another show message box activity to test the assignment value for invoice name. Set as output for plus invoice name plus extract the month plus invoice month. And it works perfectly. Add another string variable, destination path including month, and then set it as input in a new assign value. The output is a concatenation between the variable destination path \\in quotes, and the variable invoice month. This way, the robot will determine the destination path for each invoice, based on the invoice issuing month. Let's add a new show message box activity to test the assignment value for destination path including month. Let's run to see what output will return the show message box activities set in this sequence. And it works perfectly. Now that we have the confirmation that all variables are working as expected, let's add the move file activity. The source file is invoice list invoice counter, meaning the element number indicated by invoice counter in the invoice list array. The destination folder is the value stored in the variable destination path including month. Let's add a final message box in this sequence, in order to display a confirmation the current invoice was moved. The output is moved file plus path.get file name of invoice list of invoice counter. The method path.get file name under system.io expects a string variable that stores the complete path of the invoice file that was just moved. Let's go back to the main workflow and add a new sequence, new invoice. Set the transition between move file and new invoice, and then rename it. Open the newly created sequence and add an assign value activity, in order to increment the invoice counter, once an invoice is moved. The input is invoice counter and the output is invoice counter +1. Let's go back to the main workflow and add the end state. Also, set the transition between the new invoice state and the end state. Now the sequence, next invoice, is the start point for 2 transitions, one to the move file and one to the end sequence. As per state machine convention, there cannot be any transitions without condition. This is why it is very important to set condition to each of the 2 transitions in order to have the robot know what's the next state from next invoice. If invoice counter is still smaller than number invoice, after it's incremented by the assign value activity from next invoice, then transition 4 is selected and the robot goes again to sequence move invoice to process the next invoice from the list. Otherwise the robot will follow the end sequence and finish the execution. Let's open the end state and add a show message box activity, in order to notify us once the process ends. The output can be all plus number invoices plus were moved successfully. We are all set. Let's run the whole workflow. The message box set in the end state is displayed. Let's see if the file were moved. As you can see, the source folder is empty, and now let's check each month in the destination folder. Just as simple as that. Thank you for watching.